What's going on, YouTube? Or Storm here, coming at you guys. Another deck profile today. I'm sorry I didn't get to upload it last night, but I'm getting it to you today. I just had a long day at work, so I was a bit busy because it is Valentine's Day weekends. People are, it's a busy. So anyway, today I'm going to be profiling my Super Quantum list. Now, again, much like my other list, this is a first draft of the Super Quantum deck. I haven't really gotten around to, I'm experimenting with some different engines and whatnot, so again, it's going to take me a little bit more time than usual. Again, I'm always open to your guys' suggestions and feedback. So anyway, let's go ahead and get to it. So, 3 copies, or talk about some tech cards I have seen about Brilliant Fusion. Brilliant Fusion, I did test it, and I came back with the impression that while it's great, that it gives you a level 5 body, it also leads to inconsistencies. It does give Seraph Knight does give you a level 4 body, but you're already maxing out on instant fusions anyways if you're playing this deck, so why not just use instant fusion and bring out Panzer Dragon? Overlay Booster and Star Drawing also cover you in that regard. As far as the other clowns, like other than Trick Clown, I just found that with Damage Juggler Band, like you really don't have Trick Clown is probably the best one because you're gonna be pitching it like the goal of this deck is to get big old great Magnus out, and the problem is that you really need Hat Trigger doesn't do a lot for you while it's in the hand. You already have Gigabyte already kind of filling that void, so I feel like the other clowns aren't that great in the deck. It's kind of similar thing with Brilliant Fusion. You're drawing multiple Garnets, and those cards don't do anything when they're pitched. You already have a lot of cards that are discarding cards anyways. So I just felt like Shell kind of covers that searchable discard, that discard outlet that you can search and pays for itself, basically. So anyway, guys, go and get deck profiles. First off, we have 3 copies of Red Layer. Red Layer's effects: if you control no monsters, you can special summon it from your hand. It's basically a Speedroid Terratop, and when it's normal special summon, it recycles a Super Quantum card in your graveyard. It means the field spell, that means the trap card as well as all the monsters. When it's sent to the graveyard, all the Super Quantum cards never miss timing when they hit the grave. You can target one Super Quantum in your graveyard except itself, special summon it. So basically, it's a Cyber Dragon that recycles cards from your graveyard and also replaces itself when it does hit the grave. 3 copies of Green Layer. Green Layer is a spellcaster type monster, which is kind of important. Red Layer is a warrior, but if we do ever get the empowered warrior cards, I think this card would be a lot better. But anyway, 3 copies of Green Layer. So when this is normal special summon, you can special summon 1 Super Quantum monster from your hand. So basically, it's like it turns all your Super Quantums and special summons them. It's like a Kage Tokage, except it's the monster itself. And the other effect is you can discard when it's sent to the grave, you can discard 1 Super Quantum card, draw 1 card. Basically allows you to thin out your deck, which is really good. 3 Blue Layer. Blue Layer is an E-Tally target, which again is really good. And the first effect is when it's normal special summon, you can add 1 Super Quantum card from your deck for your hand except itself. Basically, you can grab your field spell, which is really important to the strategy, and then whenever it is hits the grave, it can recycle up to 3 Super Quantum cards in your grave, including itself. And both effects are only once per turn. All the Super Quantum cards say that. And then the last Super Quantum card is 3 Alphan. Alphan is kind of like the luck-based card of the deck. So once per turn, you can target 1 Super Quantum monster you control, and it tweaks the levels. But the second effect is that you contribute this card and reveal 3 Super Quantums with different names from your deck to your hand. Your opponent randomly special summons 1, and then that's one of the reasons a lot of people run 1-for-1 in this deck. So like you can probably afford to cut maybe a Twin Twister and play a 1-for-1 in this deck because it's really kind of important for the deck strategy. So we're gonna go ahead and do that right now. And then for the problem with Super Quantums is they don't have enough monsters, so you kind of have to run other engines in order to kind of thin out the deck and get to. So 1 Overlay Booster. This card says if you control monster 2,000 more attack, that's this guy. You can special summon this card from your hand once per turn. During this, when it's sent to the graveyard, during the turn it was sent to the graveyard, except the turn it was sent there, you can banish it and target an Exceed material. Exceed monster gains 500 attack for each Exceed material attached to it. So imagine you have an 8 material Magnus and you have this in the grave and you banish it. Your Magnus is going to gain 500 attack for all. That's 4,000 attacks. This card can be pretty nutty in the right situation. 1 star drawing. This card should be pretty familiar to any of you guys who play Utopia.deck. Whenever this card can be treated as a level 5 monster for an Exceed summon, so you can use it for both your Erebos as well as your Magma. And then when it's used as Exceed material, you can draw 1 card. Remember that draw effect is not once per turn. So if you use this as an Exceed material multiple times, you can draw multiple times. It's pretty good. 2 copies of Gigabyte. Gigabyte is here for because it combos really well with Star Drawing and the green layer. Basically, it's also searchable by the King of the Feral Imps. 3 Volcanic Shells. Again, this card is here because it's pitch fodder for our field spell that pays for itself. You really need, the only thing that sucks about it is drawing multiple copies, but, you know, that happens with any Volcanic player will tell you that happens. And then 2 Trick Clowns. I'm not playing Hat Tricker in this build because, again, Damage Juggler is banned. Trick Clown pays for itself, it's a floater, and you can probably get back by a Norden, so why not? 1 for 1. Again, like I said, this grabs our Alphan from the deck, and you can pitch any of your Super Quantum cards, and they pay for themselves and they hit the grave. So, 2 Twin Twisters. Again, this card does not like fighting through back row, so you need to run Twin Twister in this deck. Fighting through back row is a pain in this deck, and all it takes is 1 well-timed Solemn Strike to mess up your entire play. So you've got to play Twin Twisters in this deck. 3 Magna Carriers. This is the key card in the deck. So the first effect of this card is that you can discard 1 card, target 1 Super Quantum monster, and special summon extra deck a monster that has the same attribute. So if you have a green layer out, by discarding a card, you can make Grand Pulse and exchange for red layer and green layer. Basically, this is what allows you to get your Magnus out, because the second effect is you can send this card from the field zone to the graveyard and target 3 Super Quantum Exceed monsters with different names. That is a key part. You can't like have 2 Erebos and 1 and still make Magnus. You have to have all 3 ones on the field. You can special summon 1 Magnus from your extra deck, and then all the materials targets and the Exceed monster materials underneath it become underneath this. So basically, this card is really key to the strategy. A lot of builds do run terraforming, which is not in this particular build, but you can probably maybe I would say maybe run 2 terraforming. You know, I haven't really found any issues consistency-wise with getting to this because I tend to see E-Tele or Blue Layer very early game, but it's up to you. If you want to run terraforming, it works well in this deck. 3 Upstart Goblins. Upstart's pretty damn good in this deck. Deck thinning. You don't need Chicken Game though, because it interferes. If you have a Chicken Game out, you know, I don't really like it with Magna Carrier. You don't need Chicken Game personally, in my opinion. 3 Instant Fusion. Again, we have 4 targets for it. Mostly I Instant Fuse for Norden, but again, if you need another body for your blue layer or your red layer, they're here if you need them. So Instant Fusion is just godly in this deck. 3 Emergency Teleport. It searches our blue layer. You might say, oh, or you're breaking your ratio rules. This card recycles itself, so like I feel like that's the same reason why in Super Quantum Monarchs they run 1 of this and 2 of this, because it cycles itself back. So like I feel like you can run 3 E-Teles, and it's also getting reprinted in Premium Gold 3, so that's good. 1 Magnus Layer. You never really need this card at more than 1, but it's actually really good. Being able to gain attack equal to its rank by 1,000. Again, Magnus is a rank 12. So it's really good. 3 copies of Call the Haunted. Call the Haunted really good in this deck, being able to recycle your Nordens, being able to keep bring any of your pilots back, of your mecha pilots back, and then keep coming off is really good. Now for the extra deck. 1 Fusionist. Again, like I said, this is an instant fusion target to overlay with our blue layer. Same thing with Panzer Dragon. Difference between Panzer Dragon is when it does if it does sit there by instant, if you do like have it sitting there and it dies in the end phase, it'll get to blow up a card. 2 Norden. I think Norden is really needs no explanation at this point. It's an amazingly good card. You know, gotta run it. 1 Arc and Castell. Again, I don't make these very often, but they're there if I need them. They're here. 1 King of the Feral Imps. We do only run 2 targets, but early game this card is really, really important. 2 of each of the pilot of the carry of the Exceed monsters. The green one is all the Mecha Pilot monsters have an effect that they cannot attack with a Exceed material, and they can activate their effect during either player's turn if they have a pilot underneath them of the same attribute. So this one's effect is it is a Book of Moon, and once per turn it can detach a Super Quantum Mecha Pilot monster underneath it as Exceed material from your hand or your side of the field. Sort of like a Cyber Dragon Infinity, if you will. Grand Pulse is actually a MST that reads exactly the same, except it's a pop spells, and Magna Lyre pops, I believe, monsters. And it can also pop your own monsters, which is can be cool. And as far as Magnus, you can get away with running only one Magnus. I just like having the second one there just in case. Basically, and you can recycle it via blue layer, but the effect is it gains effects based on how many materials it has. So if it has 2 or more, you can detach an exceed material and shuffle a card into the deck. So it's like a Castell on legs. And if it has 4 materials, it's unaffected by card effects except Super Quantums cards. And 6 effects, 6 or more, your opponent, it's a walking mistake. I find that this card, if it sits on the field, once it hits the field, it should be game. There's been games where it will sit on the field more than one turn, but most of the time, if this card sits on the field, your opponent pretty much is just going to have to scoop it up. If it does manage to bite the dust, if it is sent to the graveyard, you can special summon 3 Exceed monsters with different names. So if it does actually manage, if your opponent does manage to get it low on materials and Raigeki it, you can just bring all the materials right back and then play the field spell and just do it all over again. So that's one of the reasons I do like to, but that's why it's here. So anyway, guys, as always, I thank you guys for watching the video today. If you have any suggestions for other techs or engines I should run in this deck, let me know down in the comment section down below. Anyway, guys, as always, I'd like to thank you guys for watching. This is Orstorm, signing out.